Now let's talk about these microgreens for a second. Now, many of you foodies out there or people that have just around food have heard the term microgreens, but what are they? Well, they're different grown greens that are usually in a controlled environment like a greenhouse somewhere. These come from Ohio, and they're really fantastic in flavor. Right here is something called a cucumber, micro cucumber. Now this doesn't look like a cucumber, but when you taste it, you get the smell, you get the taste. If you take it with your hands and just get your oils going on and release all those flavors, you can actually smell the cucumber on these greens. That's what microgreens have really come to taking a whole new level. So we have cucumbers that we're going to throw here because what we're going to be doing is making a little bit of a salad to go on top of our scallopini. Next, what we're going to talk about are these greens. These are called the carrot fern leaves. Now, I've never used these really before. I've always seen them. Sometimes I've seen them saved for garnish. But up until last week, in playing around with these microgreens, and I figured out that if you combine this with a few others, you're okay. But this by itself is just deadly. It's like eating grass. So we're just going to put a little bit in here. Next, we have some really attractive looking tangerine leaves here, which are really good in flavor, and they have a hint of citrus flavor, believe it or not. I know people at home might be going, wow, this is really weird, but they're doing this stuff to greens, and it tastes fabulous. Now, something really nice here called the Sorrel Silver Leaf. They look like lily pads, and what we're going to be doing is these have sort of a subtle flavor, so they'll take on pretty much anything that we throw in there. And then we're going to put a little bit of this red-looking green stuff here called the Micro Radish Ruby. Now, as a chef, you really can't learn all these names because a lot of them are named after the farmer's daughter or the dog or something like that. So a lot of people might be saying, oh, you don't remember what that is? Well, he just had a new kid 2 weeks ago, and he named the greens his kid. So, you have to be careful with that stuff. With a lot of these names are not really true given names. All right, so let's fold all these up, put these aside for now. So next we're going to take our veal, that's scallopini. Now you could have left this in oil overnight. You could totally do that. Leaving it in oil overnight is not really marinating it in my opinion because, the oils and the herbs are really just not going to penetrate too much in there unless there's an acid. So we're going to put our veal down. It smells really good, I'll tell you that. And with veal, especially this type, I am not overcooking this baby. So, I'm getting like, a mark on one side, mark on the other, and, that's it for me. I definitely will not cook this veal because overcooking this veal, I'm going to end up with a chewy mess. We got a plate down here. Just going to leave that back there. And remember we talked about our sun-dried tomato pesto hitting up this veal as it comes off, and we have our greens. So why don't I just take away some of these greens here and make some room. Now, what do we talk about with a vinaigrette with this? Well, you don't want to mask too much of the flavors here. These, right? We just talked about these microgreens having individual flavors. It's not like you're opening up a head of iceberg lettuce and saying, okay, well, if I make the dressing really good, it'll taste good. So what we're looking to do is bring out the natural flavors. We're just going to hit this with a little bit of kosher salt, and we got a little bit of olive oil somewhere right here. And we're just going to give this a little bit of a toss because we want these natural flavors coming out of the microgreens. By adding vinegars and stuff like that, we're going to mask that flavor. And it's not going to be a good thing. You can use your hands, just kind of get in there a little bit. And again, you see how I'm not, tossing it around. It's a light kind of feather motion. One good thing about not adding an acid, especially with these delicate greens, is they won't fall on you quickly. It won't, kill you. All right, now, we'll take our veal. And just as we're turning this over, now you could put your sun-dried tomato pesto on top. Why did I choose sun-dried tomato pesto? Because I made it yesterday. You could use basil if you want. There's no rules in cooking. All right, now we have everything on there. We're talking about the awesome power of this grill, first of all. So you take your steak off because we're not looking for anything to be overcooked at all. Okay, now we're going to take our greens, and I'm going to show you something that's really going to blow your mind. Hold on a second here. Put your greens up high and tight. Okay, maybe you want to take the best looking ones, which is definitely these tangerine babies. Put them around the side. Okay, now we're going to take this truffle popcorn, black truffle popcorn. You heard it, folks. And I'm putting a little popcorn on the side. Don't knock it till you try it. And there's one dish.